Welcome to my beginner to intermediate level tutorial in GTR2, driving the Lotus Elise around Monza Junior. Before we start to analyze the lap in detail, let me point out that this is a fast lap tutorial, not a hot lap tutorial. The car you see me driving here is set up for a half-hour race and has approximately 30 laps worth of fuel in the tank, and we're running soft compound tires in the front, intermediates in the rear. In other words, the car is not set up for a pants-on-fire, all-or-nothing qualifying lap. It's set up for a half-hour race, and the idea here is to drive a fast, competitive, sustainable pace, which at 57.022 seconds is pretty competitive by most standards. It will certainly beat the AI at full simulation level and 100% aggression, and make you pretty competitive even against the stiffest competition online. Here you see the car in question, beautifully modified by Mad Dog Modders of the UK with a 6-speed transmission as opposed to GTR2's stock 5-speed transmission for the Elise, and its power output values have been tweaked slightly to bring it in line with the realistic car as run in the British GT series. I would say these modifications are worth about half a second per lap around Monza Junior. And this is Monza Junior, the cut down version of the GT track, very suitable for the smaller cars, great fun to drive quite fast. You start out on the shorter of the two long straights, and this leads to curve 1, which requires tremendous deceleration from 6th gear into 2nd, and then there is a combination of corners leading to Variante Ascari, which is the center of gravity of any fast lap around Monza Junior. The reason this corner is so important is because it gives out onto the longest of the two straights, and you need to hit the apex and get on the gas as soon as possible in order to maximize your top speed in the long straight. If you screw up this corner, you've probably sacrificed any possibility of running a truly fast lap around Monza Junior. Here is the infamous curva parabolica, and that leads to a chicane in Monza Junior, where in this car it's very important to keep as much speed on the car as possible. The Lotus Elise just doesn't have enough power to recover from over braking, and so you've got to take this chicane as fast as you possibly can, but with the car still firmly under control. We're going to start in television view, flat out, rapidly decelerating from 6th gear into 2nd. A lot of oversteer on the car, carefully negotiating this combination of corners so that you can hit the apex here and get on the gas, foot on the floor, all the way up into 6th gear for the long straight. Coming up to curva parabolica, as I said, I do it in 4th gear. You have to throw the car into it somewhat so you can maximize the oversteer. You don't want the car pushing around to the outside of the curve, which is why you have to dial out the understeer in the way you set up the car at the beginning. 4th into 2nd, don't overbrake. Drive over the curbs in the chicane and get on the gas as soon as possible coming down the home stretch. You may have to adjust the springs so that you don't get thrown around by those curves. Here we are in cockpit view. Deceleration. Swinging a little bit to the outside, first apex. 2nd apex. 3rd gear now. Apex. On the gas. You'll notice during the deceleration that I'm blipping the throttle. If you don't blip the throttle on the downshift and you don't match the revs, then when you change from 3rd into 2nd gear, the rear end will come around and you'll spin out. Curva parabolica. Off the gas slightly, but on it as soon as possible. Up into 5th gear and then immediately decelerating into 2nd. Get that turn in as early as you can and get on the gas as early as you can. Let's take a look at it one more time. From flat out, I intend to start braking just outside the 100-yard marker, easing off the gas, easing onto the brake, blipping as I downshift, coming in here a little hot. I hit the first apex when I'm carrying a bit too much speed through the combination. I hit the 2nd apex and then pay the price on the 3rd. A bit hot, you can see I have to lift off the gas in order to avoid being pushed out into the grass verge. Obviously the advantage in driving these lighter cars is you get to brake late. Coming up to curva parabolica, I start to brake just inside the 100-yard marker, easing off the gas gently, and throwing the car into the corner to maximize the oversteer. This enables me to get on the gas again as soon as possible, back up into 5th gear, then immediately down into 4th, blipping, carrying as much speed as I can through the chicane over the curves, foot on the floor, down to the finish line. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and I hope it was helpful. I'll see you on the track.